I would say it's the only thoughtful news show in Boston. They've been out in the street, both of them. They know what news is, what's important news, what's minutiae. They're good. I think that the 10 o'clock news does a wonderful job of sifting out the rather drab, unimportant news and concentrates on 4 or 5 good stories. But they know how to concentrate on what's important.
The 10 o'clock news on Channel 2 with Christopher Lydon and Carmen Fields.
Chris Lydon has got the best network of experts from the universities, from the political world, both sides of the political fence, from the business world, of anybody in America. These Q&A and these pro and con debates he has, just a most illuminating kind of way to sort things out in a difficult story.
The 10 o'clock news on Channel 2 with Christopher Lydon and Carmen Fields.
Well, as a cab driver, I get up 5:30 in the morning, and I'm not usually up till the 11 o'clock news. So this way I get the 10 o'clock news, good local coverage, and hey, I get an extra hour of beauty sleep.
The 10 o'clock news on Channel 2 with Christopher Lydon and Carmen Fields.
I watch the 10 o'clock news because I want to know what's going on in the world, and I think Chris does a nice job in writing about it. He's a real journalist who has had newspaper experience as well as, now, of course, now a lot of television experience as well. He has interesting guests who can fill in the gaps behind the news. I think Carmen Fields is a delightful newscaster. I think she knows what she's talking about, too. I think it's a very authoritative newscast, and I feel like I've really learned something after I've watched it.
The 10 o'clock news on Channel 2 with Christopher Lydon and Carmen Fields.
I like Chris Lydon because I can respect him. He's not just a pretty boy, although heavens knows he's gorgeous and all that, but he's had an experience as a newspaper reporter. He's had a lot of experience on television news. He writes beautifully. He knows what a story is. He is a real journalist. And I can watch him and feel that here's a man who's credible, who knows what he's talking about. I'm really finding something out as a result of his knowledge.
The 10 o'clock news on Channel 2 with Christopher Lydon and Carmen Fields.
I like the coverage on the 10 o'clock news. It's on WGBH. It's very reasoned. It's very well balanced. It covers local issues and national issues in a way where you don't feel like you're just getting the sugar-coated administration's current view of the news. You're getting a real look at both sides, and it lets you think about things, I think, in a little different way. I think it's thought-provoking.
The 10 o'clock news on Channel 2 with Christopher Lydon and Carmen Fields.
I think it provokes a lot of thinking or thoughtfulness about current issues that you might not, that might just pass you by in the normal course of things. You know, a lot of things that they address in the news I'm not aware of, or I don't recognize the significance to me until I hear their view. You know, and then I start to think about them.
The 10 o'clock news on Channel 2 with Christopher Lydon and Carmen Fields.
I watch it for both information and interpretation. A colleague of mine, in a puckish mood, once parodied the graduates of a progressive school by saying, I don't know the facts, but I can tell you their significance. Of course, we need both, and we get both on the Channel 2 news. Moreover, it's about both the city and the world, as the Vatican would say, urbe et orbe. And you can't be more comprehensive than that.
The 10 o'clock news on Channel 2 with Christopher Lydon and Carmen Fields.
I would recommend the 10 o'clock news because in this community there are a great many knowledgeable people, many experts, even a few wise people, and they seem to find their way to the 10 o'clock news under the shepherding of Chris Lydon and Carmen Fields.
The 10 o'clock news on Channel 2 with Christopher Lydon and Carmen Fields.
Well, first of all, the guy knows enough about the subject to have the right person there to interview. Secondly, he asks a question. He's obviously grounded enough in the material to engage in real give and take. And he's not just asking a bunch of potted questions. I mean, where else can you get a guy who reads the news and seems to know what he's talking about?
The 10 o'clock news on Channel 2 with Christopher Lydon and Carmen Fields.
I watch the 10 o'clock news because I know I can trust Chris Lydon and Carmen Fields to tell me what the important stories are and why they're important.
The 10 o'clock news on Channel 2 with Christopher Lydon and Carmen Fields.
The 10 o'clock news to me goes beyond the headlines. It goes beyond the front page, and it gives you, it's more like the editorial page, and it gives you a sense of the issues in depth. Interesting points of view that aren't expressed anywhere else on television news today.
The 10 o'clock news on Channel 2 with Christopher Lydon and Carmen Fields.
I watch the 10 o'clock news because I have a sense that there's a real intelligence behind the criteria, the news criteria at work. You know, you watch the other stations, you'll see Mike Dukakis and Billy Bulger, but you watch 10 o'clock news and you'll see the head of the local chapter of the Mass Tenants Organization in the neighborhoods or Fair Share, and you get the sense of the underlying structure of these issues that cause it to be of any relevance to listen to the governor or Billy Bulger. Great news show. I love it.
The 10 o'clock news on Channel 2 with Christopher Lydon and Carmen Fields.
I like Chris Lydon because he seems to be connected to what he's talking about. I mean, there's definite engagement. I feel as though his mind is working. I feel as though he's got something at stake. And it's not just intellectual, he's really feeling the subject. I also
find the news delivered with style and substance. There's not a lot of bell ringing, and a lot of girdle salesmen talking haircuts, giving you kind of show business. I think it's edited with unpretentiousness and grace. It reminds me of what newscasting